welcome in, flow in charts. If you're new to joining us, feel free to drop some flow requests, any charting requests, so on. It's been a very slow afternoon today, so we might not do the full hour here. The flow has been very very slow, and I want to point one thing out here at the top. Oops, maybe not. Let's see. Let's go back here. It's been a very low volume day as well here, so let me just get this over here 1 second. Our volume, we are significantly lower on our volume. We are not even halfway of our 30-day average right now. It is a very slow grinding day, so it's been a very quiet day coming off the long weekend, and then we also have the Iran stuff going on still, and deadlines for tomorrow, and just different headlines all over the place again. Expected to see traders kind of step back a little bit, and we do have a heavy week of inflation data as well. We have PCE followed by CPI on Friday, so that's going to be a Thursday and Friday are going to be pretty big there, and a lot of people keeping eyes on energy and how it's impacted now that we've kind of had a month there of the higher energy prices. So it's a really slow day so far. I mean, again, don't feel like you need to force anything if you don't have to, but yeah, that volume, you just look at that overall volume here, and it is very light here. And I will touch on the one tracked flow alert here that we can take a peek at here. I saw the MRVLs, you can ignore, that's from something else, but Avgos here, these 25 days out here, the 51275 put. Just kind of looking at that flow here, this looked pretty good when it came in. If I could pull that up properly. Good IV spike there, spot fills at the ask that entire time. So we'll see how this one plays out. This is just the only one tracked flow alert we have on the day. Everything else has just been kind of not the best looking flow, and I don't want to go super heavy on flow either, with everything kind of going on as well too. Um, let's hold on. Let's see. So Tesla plus, yeah, I'm surprised you even caught Tesla plus, man. It's been slow, very very slow. I don't know what contracts you might have saw with that, but okay, yeah, that makes sense there because I believe Tesla. Yeah, I mean this is just some very choppy price action. I mean we ended whale watch a little early today too. Oof, boy, yeah, good good find there, Benny. Good find, good find. Hey, you took profits and secured profits. That's all that matters. Um, Brad, I saw you asked a question here as well too. Let me just kind of go back there. Let's see. I want to see what your question was. Oh, yeah. So I will. That'll have to be an education video. I'm gonna do a kind of an educational breakdown, a deeper dive on that one. That one's. I don't really use that chart that much. What Brad's asking about here is kind of that strike tab in here. So it's just kind of showing you which action is on the strikes here. I don't use this a ton, but I will make an educational video on it. I just gotta kind of look it over and kind of do some digging on it. I don't really use it that much, to be honest with you. So just give me a little time on that and I'll see. But mostly mostly with this one, it's just kind of telling you what's going on with that strike. So like that 330 strike is getting a lot of action here. So let's just kind of take a look at that. So Avgo 330. Avgo 330 contract. Avgo 330. So you can see kind of a lot of volume getting hit across that name there. Um, just kind of looking here. Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat and do this at the same time. That's my biggest fault. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna kind of tell you what's more like ask side and stuff. I'll get a good educational video on that one. Benny, I do have a video. If you go into that Gamma channel there, um, if you go, is the sound good for everybody else? Sounds good for everybody else. It seems like. Okay. Um, yeah. So Brad, I'll work on an educational video on that one. I kind of want to do a little more diving on that before I can give a super clean example on that. Um, let's look. So I got a couple flow requests here too. So LITE and NFLX. So let's take a peek at these. Yeah, no, you didn't miss it there. I started looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I need to do a little kind of back end testing and stuff on that one. I for some reason I think I looked at it wrong and I was like, oh, that's a really simple answer. And then I was like, okay, no, I need to do a little deeper dive in there. Yeah, Benny, if you don't get it, don't. I do have a couple. There's a couple gamma guides in the learning in the downloadable guides. Probably from a couple of months ago, I want to say. I would search around in there and take a peek, but yeah, no, it's gamma. Gamma is a whole different animal as well too. But yeah, let's look up. Let's see, so LITE and NFLX here. So let's do LITE first. For some reason, I thought I saw LITE flow hit. Nope. Okay, I'm just crazy. Okay, let's see what we got today. So LITE is absolutely getting smashed today, it looks like. So let's see. So a lot of net call premium selling off here, so a lot of bid side. So that would open us a net call premium gap here to the downside. We're getting some good put volume. And let's see that 650 put. Oof. These might have already ran though. Oh yeah, those came in right at open there. Right at open there, and oops, I was like that's so okay. Well, here's a kind of good example here for you, Brad. You can see. So that red line here is that. What's it saying? It's that 500 put. This is at 650. Hold on. Maybe I'll take that back. So 500. Yeah, let me do a little research on that. I was like, oh, hey, that's a good example because I saw that big drop there. I was like, oh, well, that's what that put is there. Okay, yeah, so you can, oh, and it looks like you can do it by most volume and all that. Okay. Yeah, I don't use that tab too much, so I'll do a little research on it for you, and then I'll work on a guide here within the next week or something. Yeah, it's interesting. I know when it came out, I kind of looked at it. I just didn't really dive into it too deep. But yeah. So back to LITE. Sorry to keep getting off track. Yeah, LITE here making a good move already. Contracts up. Oil looks to still be in very short dated here. Would not surprise me to see a little profit taking possibly. Anything else on LITE today? Let's see. Yeah, just bid side call. Yeah, that's kind of your only big notable piece of flow there, and that's already made a big run on that one. Yeah, and I mean, you do have that open gap to the downside as well now too, but the only flow that I'm kind of seeing just from our highest volume contracts is that 4-day out 410 650 put, which already ran a bit there. NFLX, and I saw NFLX flow earlier, so let me go take a peek at that. So yeah, a lot of puts kind of coming in here on NFLX. So these already kind of slightly making a move. 98's also making a move a little bit. But one day, I know I threw one in the riskier flow, I believe. Yeah, that 97 put there. So it was this one right here. So this one, and also So this goes in the risky flow. The flow looked very, very good, but we have an earnings overlap. All of that flow except that weekly overlapped earnings. Hold on, there's a chat going on. Oh, okay. Yeah, this flow looked very, very good, but again, you just had that earnings overlap. I'll come back here and take a peek. If this was not earnings flow, this would have been in the flow alerts there. Let's just take a peek at it here. So again, you see all that IV spikes when it comes in. Spot is filling at the ask here. Little wider bid ask spread. IV stays up. IV stays up. Little drop here towards the end in that IV. Okay, so this is one that I looked at on Whale Watch as well too. So you had that kind of IV drop here. I'm not a fan of when that IV kind of drops on that bigger size and premium there. Again, kind of a good example where just because that IV drops a little bit at the end doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to work out, because he's made a good move here. And also just kind of looking at that, where was that drop there? That 57. That price of Netflix also dropped just a tiny bit during that period, so probably explains your little IV drop there. And it's not a significant IV drop, but just still something to always be cautious about, especially with that overlapping earnings by 8 days. You don't want to get caught in something like that if you don't want to. But yeah, I'm Netflix call or puts all made a move there. Anything else new on the day for Netflix though? Let me just clean this up a little bit. Yeah, other than that, I'm just kind of taking a peek here, and I'm not seeing much else. There's just a lot of kind of bid side, mid side action coming in here. Just not a ton of interesting looking flow here. We can kind of go in here and filter a little bit though. Let's just see what we can find in here. And yeah, just be cautious because we do have earnings coming up in that 18 days. So that is just something to kind of always be aware of so you don't get stuck in an earnings report there. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this in the money stuff here. So yeah, so these are the three puts here that we already kind of talked about. So you got that 417-102 call here. These could potentially be interesting. We do have a lot of open interest already, so let's just kind of take a peek. Let's just go back. Yeah, you see how there's so many other candles in here. You don't know what's really being passed off and so on until that open interest updates. This candle is 36.33 here. Looks very similar to this 37.06 here. This would not surprise me if maybe this whale from 316 could be getting out here. Let's just go back here and look at 316. So most of that carried over, and you don't really see big changes in the open interest. So it's hard to already kind of tell who's still holding, who still has contracts and so on. But this, I almost want to say this one looks like they're probably, so I'm just doing the eye test there. If we have a stream tomorrow, if somebody reminds me, we can take a peek at these. Actually, I'll just bookmark it here. We can come back and take a peek at this one tomorrow and see what that open interest does here. I have a strong feeling that this open interest might drop there. Just very similar size candles there, and there's only one person with that amount of size on that trade that can close that trade. So I think that may be them getting out of that position for some gains. How about these 104? So you already see there's a lot of open interest on this one too. And to me it looks like, so you had that 11,000 come in there on the 17th. Most of that carried over. You don't see any big drops in that open interest there, and not enough volume to really show that whale getting out at all. I think this could just be some profit taking today here, possibly. Again, something that we'd have to check that open interest on. We cannot identify it as a brand new opening trade though, just based on some of that older volume there. I would assume it's probably related to this trade though. And it looks like a lot of this, so you got 1200 there. And even intraday here, you just see you got the two 1200s there. could be a quick intraday scalp or something. It just, you don't know sometimes. And it is a big multi-leg trade as well too, and a messy multi-leg trade too. So I'm gonna say, besides those puts on Netflix that already kind of made a move there, I'm not seeing anything new on though. Um, Bid side calls on Netflix there, Lilu, or let me go back there. Crap, I gotta go back here 1 second. Let's go find the one we were looking at here. So the one in question here. So this looks like it was opened at the bid here, and yeah, I'm just kind of, let's see. Cash, whatever. I know you're getting your sports bets in. You're good. These Netflix here from the 16th here, they are at the bid. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on that. They do overlap earnings as well, but yeah, these came in at the bid here, and it looks like that bid ask switched a little at the end there, so kind of came in at the ask there. So these technically would have came in at the bid, and you don't get a super clean read on this one. Like at the time, I might have assumed these are probably selling those calls because you have your IV dropping there and your spot price not really dropping. You're staying at the bid there. Well, hindsight's always hard to kind of come back because you know what happened, but I'd almost probably say in real time, I wouldn't get a good read on that just because you do have that ask side there and then you have the previous bid side there. It'd just be kind of a little muddier feed on that one. And the other Netflix here, let me go find that here. It was, man, I gotta stop closing all these tabs. Let's see. The 104 call. So yes, this was another big bid side call there. And let's just kind of go back and look. And this was coming off a big multi-leg trade too. So this actually is nothing of interest unless you would like to try to diagnose this massive multi-leg trade in here with bid side calls, bid side puts, ask side calls, ask side puts. Not for me on that one. But yeah, no, that other than that, yeah, not really seeing much for Netflix here. So let me clean up a couple of these tabs. Yeah, and LITE already kind of making a move off that one piece of flow there. Let's do. Okay, so speaking of sports betting, all right, from the birthday boy, MGM, oof, good, good find here. Pretty long term on these. One day had expiry day after my birthday. So that means my birthday's on a Thursday this year. Great. So I'm taking a peek at these. I like these. You have a rising spot price here. Your IVs spiking when they come in here. These look pretty good to me there. You're not filling entirely at the ask, but you just kind of see, you can see that kind of visualization of how that fill is there. I would probably lean buy to open on these. How far are these out of the money? 7% out of the money. Yeah, they're probably buy to open here. How's that? Oh yeah. Out of the last 30 sessions, this is the biggest day of net call premium. So that is very interesting here. Let's see what else we got for flow on this. MGM, so that's 52% of the total premium. Let's just come down here. And then it looks like you have a 25 or a 5-140 call also kind of being hit here a little bit. 7% out of the money. Let's see how this guy looks here. So this one's a little interesting because you get that little IV drop here, but let's just follow those up. So we're filling at the ask, Yeah, this tape's not giving me the best. I don't like that little IV drop. We are filling at the ask though. Do these ones overlap earnings? 25 days. Oh, these ones overlap earnings. So this would be I'd consider this piece an earnings piece of flow there. Um, Anything else on MGM? Let's see. What we got open on them? So nothing there. Let's go in here and take a peek. Sorry, this one. What names do we have the biggest open interest on? So let's just take a little peek in here. So it looks like that 417 also does a lot of puts on that one. We'll go dig in there. Ooh, a lot of calls on that 515. 515 and 618. I'm just kind of doing a face value look here right now. All right, let's see. A lot of open interest fell off too. Oh yeah, this is a really fun page here that will. I'll drop it in here. Yeah, really cool page here, and you can filter it by open interest by strike, and you can do it by expiration as well. I like to, and it'll tell you like your highest open interest increase by percent. So when you're looking at percent though, I always kind of keep an eye on that volume because like here that previous day's open interest was only 1. That previous day volume is 27, so that percent looks a lot bigger. So I always kind of keep an eye on that actual volume in there. I prefer the highest open interest increase ones there, so you actually get that numerical figure going in there. But let's just take a peek at a couple of these expirations in here. So we can look at 410. Let's go take a peek at 410. So 410, 410, 417, 515, 618. Okay, let's go take a peek at these. So that 417. So then you can always just pop over to that options chain too, and it'll pull up that chain there. So I like to just kind of scroll through this and see what names have the highest open interest. It'll tell you what that open interest went up by as well too. Just kind of doing a quick glance here. I don't see anything really eye-catching. Maybe that 40 call here. Looks like a lot of that's kind of already just trickled in there. Yeah, I don't see anything in that one. Let's see, then we said the 515. So like 515, okay, we have a lot of open interest on that 35 put there. Again, messy flow, just not a super good signal there. Looks like, yeah, started coming in end of February, add. Let's just see, add. So this looks like a position builder, actually. You just see all those bigger volume days, that volume carrying over there. So these look like position builders here. So whether this whale is short or long is another question, but this has been a position that was built since the end of February there. For that put there. Yeah, trading at 192 and they're at 142. They're down. Well, and keep in mind if they're averaging down too on all these, it looks like that average for the most part. I mean, you're in the 160s, 70s probably after everything's averaged down in there. That's an interesting piece there, but yeah, this looks like it's a position that could potentially be related to each other. Again, you just see all those volume days and that open interest increasing on all of those. So it would not surprise me if today's 374 carry over. Again, would have to definitely verify that, but could be another ad. They could be shorting these puts as well too. It's just hard to know when you get this much flow on something as well. What else do we got in here? Maybe that 30 put. Ooh, how about that 42 call and that 45 call? A lot of open interest on these. And this looks like it could be a potential short here. So these came in on the 16th. And then another 2200 added there on the 20th. Let's take a peek. Oh, it's a big multi-legger too. Yeah, see, this is the importance of always just kind of looking through that flow there too. Just Again, you're going to see a lot more bad flow than good flow there. So this one I'm going to say there's nothing on that one there too. And then we had the 522 and 618. We'll just do a quick glance here. So nothing really on that one. Then the 618. Yeah, 618's got a lot of open interest on those puts there. Looks like a lot of that started. Ooh, these have been held for a while. Since, oof. These have been held for a while. I can't even go back as far as they've been held. Interesting. Well, this position, whatever it is, has been held for a very long time. We're looking for calls, though, because we saw that flow. Bid side. Okay, let's see. Yeah, a lot of this flow has been sitting here for a while. So you're just not getting a super clean read. Let's do that 9 to 33. Yeah, a lot of these have been held. This one a little better, so 11. Can at least kind of go back there. Let's move this back a little bit so we can see that whale entry. So, okay, that was your whale entry there. So, 1700, again, a mix of ask and bid side flow there. Just not the best kind of face value read there. And I'm typically not a big fan of going back and finding a piece of flow like this. Like, it came in November 14th. It's April 6th now. And sometimes when you try to go back to, there's so much data in here, it doesn't always populate properly. So I kind of just ignore some of that older flow. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything to go against this. I would like to say these are probably buy to open. Let's take a peek at the chart too here. MGM. MGM. Man, I thought we were going to only do a half hour because the flow was so slow. I mean, you start looking at one piece of flow and it's like you dive into a bunch of it. I mean, that's usually how it goes. Come on. Load. Load, load, load. So MGM. So when in doubt, you can always chart as well. So I'm just looking. So let me just clean up some of these drawings here. So that was a longer term whale, so 918. So I'm just going to kind of draw a couple trend lines in here and see what we can get. So I am seeing us just kind of get this in here as nice as possible. So I'm just starting out with a nice little trend line here. Can see we are trending up here. Obviously 2020, the big reason why we dropped COVID. I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of that by now. But we're just kind of coming back above that trend line now. So we're regaining that uptrend. And I am, see if I can kind of draw this out as a little channel as well here too. So I almost would have it running within kind of this potential channel area. I mean, that'd be nice to see it get back up here. We were just trading up at this level September 3 years ago there. Obviously, a lot goes on with MGM travel, consumer heavy. If there's a recession, job losses, that can also impact that as well. But I'm just kind of looking at the chart where we are right now, and I want to switch this back to the daily view as well. Oops. If I could click, that would be helpful. So where are we on the daily? So let's see if we can find a good, decent little supply or demand support zone in here. So let's just see what we got here. We'll kind of go through this and just see, and it's not going to be the best one. It's pretty messy here. Pretty messy, but we'll start it here and just kind of come over here and see how we can adjust it a little bit there. So we're going to do this back on the weekly. I want to use some of this other older data as well too. So you can kind of see how you have a little zone forming in here. We've bounced out of that zone there, bounced there, failed there, came up, retested, failed, and that would have been at the top of our now channel as well too. Came in here, we popped out of that, came back in, popped again, failed. So I mean, history is just kind of all over the place at this spot here. So again, it's not the best demand zone there. I do like it here though because you have your uptrend to go off of as well too. So I mean, if I was gonna look at those long MGMs, I'd probably feel comfortable. When do we have earnings on this thing? 23 days. See, I'm not a big fan of swinging over earnings, but if you were in love with that flow, I mean, you're sitting on the 200-day moving average, 150-day moving average, 20 days just sitting on that trend line. I mean, this uptrend has been holding here. I would and it's longer term. So the thing is, like when I look at the flow there, that whale's 165 days out. They're probably not expecting a move tomorrow. Now again, anything can happen, but this flow is longer term there. I would expect this whale to maybe be potentially looking for a bounce up here, maybe come up, retest at least. I mean, the goal target would obviously be up here, but I I like this spot here. I just don't like the earnings. I just wish this flow did not overlap earnings. That's the thing. But if I was going to trade this, I would probably put my risk with a break below that little uptrend there. Close out of that demand zone. That'd probably be my risk on that one there. And again, yeah, you'd have to sit through an earnings report on those, but that's an interesting one. That's a pretty good. The flow looks good though, for sure. It's just, do you want to hold it over earnings? And your chart looks pretty good there too as well. Good, that killed some time. Now I can get a drink quick. Yeah, we can look at MGM earnings here. I want to see what they do. I supposedly could have looked at that too. So earnings, yeah, they don't favor the. I think mine's sleeping on the couch still. Oh no, he moved. He went somewhere. I think he went upstairs. Crazy dog. Ooh, yeah, MGM has a pretty big implied move there, almost 9% there, and the thing that kind of worries me is that historical, and just because it historically happens doesn't always mean it's going to happen again. But a lot of that is to the downside there, so when they hit that implied move, it's typically towards the inside or downside there, and it looks like your average move is about down 2.20 almost or so. Not two and a, almost was gonna say 2.25, but not close, but not there. And I'm just kind of looking at that historical move after. I mean, historically speaking, I mean you've had 212 of 25. That's the only one that looks like it's continuously went up after that, and looks like May 1st as well too. Then back there in 22. Yeah, I mean that earnings move is kind of spotty all over on that. So I mean, again, you're playing earnings. Maybe the best thing for something like this, and it sucks because you might miss the move, but wait for earnings to get by and see how they do on earnings. I mean, you might miss the move, but the goal is to not, you know, get into a losing trade if you don't have to. And I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the RSI too. We're just sitting pretty neutral here. Like, it looks like it's good for a bounce. Again, I just wouldn't want to be stuck in something over earnings. And we are, that's at a pretty big 52-week range too. Pretty big 52-week range there. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one though. I would be inclined to possibly look at that. I just want to look at the gamma on it as well too. Yeah, gamma's just, I mean, there's not a lot there. I mean, just not a lot. Looks like your upside gaps, I mean, you might get a little move there to that mid 35s there. Or what are we trading at? Oh, yeah, I mean, that high gamma point there's at 37.57. So, I mean, you're at that high gamma point there almost to. So, I would be cautious, but let's just see. So, exposure by strike. Yeah, a lot of that. No, 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 no. Come here. Okay, I'm going to refresh it. Come on. Yeah, it looks like a lot of that net gamma is on the call side. It could be a little mixed there. It kind of split there. How's our expirations look? So there is a lot of net call gamma on that 515 expiration. Put gamma on the two upcoming expirations. Yeah, that is an interesting, that 515. Let's just go look at that one more time. Yeah, I mean that 45 call is very odd there. 316. Oh, I gotta go back one more. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of that. And this was that multi-legger. Yeah, you just kind of keeping an eye through here about that 35 put. Yeah, just this is that little position builder. Yeah, just a lot of kind of stuff going on there. How much are these contracts again? Let's just go look. Okay. I have so many tabs open and then I end up not getting them the MGMs. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, they're slightly up a little bit. I mean, not enough to consider it a win there, but yeah, it's just very odd flow there and how it's filling too. I'd like to lean that they're buy to open there. Just I would be very cautious on taking something like that, especially with earnings and so on. There's a lot of headline risk right now too, and that explains why it's been so slow as well today too. Just again, for those that kind of joined the stream a little later, the Trump stuff with Iran tomorrow and all that, like, you know, people are backing off. We're coming off a long weekend again, very low volume too for the most part today. All right, let's see what else we got coming in for flow. Actually, let's take a peek at the market tide here because it's about that time. Yeah, pretty bullish market tide right now. Out of the money calls rising up here. All calls ask side as well there. Puts kind of trying to come up here, but still sitting bid side there. A lot of positive volume as well too. So this is a bullish market tide right now. Probably would not short anything. Also probably would not long anything. Just it's so choppy here, and I'm just kind of looking at Periscope at that 0 DTE. We have just been chopping along this 6600 and the 6605. This spread for most of the day. How's tomorrow's expiration kind of look? Tomorrow they are kind of positioned up a little higher for tomorrow, but it's very light positioning, very light positioning right now. How about we switch this to all and just take a peek? Man, we are just sitting on that spread. There's not really any new positions getting put on. This is a very choppy day. Very choppy day, and yeah, it looks like we're gonna probably close between the 6600 and that 6610 range. I mean, we've been sitting here for probably 60% of the day, so I'm not seeing anything here. I mean, you got a little positive gamma down here, but you're just sitting in the big, heavy positive 6,600. So I'm not really seeing anything. I mean, and to kind of scalp here with this price action, not the best setup either. All right, anything new for flow? Circle 4-day out, 410.96 calls. These look like a new opener here. So 524 contracts, definitely opening volume here. Let's see. So when this comes in, so you get a nice little IV spike here. Spot is filling with the ask. Timing is all the same. Let's just kind of follow these up. We don't have to worry about earnings. They're in 51 days. These expire this week. 93.39. Just kind of following this up. We're still filling with that ask there. I would say these look like they're buy to open. The only thing I don't like right now, though, is all of our premiums are bid side right now, and calls have really kind of dropped recently, too. We are up 2% on the day as well, so I mean, it's kind of one of those coin flips. Your flow looks good, but your overall kind of contracts and premium just not looking the best. This is something I will throw in that risky flow channel though. So can you kind of see that thought process about what goes inside that risky flow channel? These are very short term. Your overall premiums just aren't looking the best there. You're up so much on the day already, but your flow looks good. So it has its perks and it has its kind of drawbacks there too. So let me just toss this in the channel there. All right, anything else? I saw Oklo kind of getting hit kind of a lot today, actually. Yeah, I think it was 100 and these guys right here. Yeah, these were kind of far out of the money. We'll take a peek at these. I think these are the ones I touched on in Whale Watch a little bit earlier, too. So, okay. So again, I mean, you get your IV spike here. Spots filling with the ask. IV stays up, no changes there. Just looking pretty good overall here from our timestamps here. Again, you have some volume after there. Hard to know if it's that whale. Could be possibly, I mean, you're 3 seconds later, but it's only 2 contracts. Could be retail just following along quickly. I do like our overall flow here that came in though. Only thing I don't like, again, another earnings overlap, and these are pretty long dated again here too. How about this one that just hit the feed though? 16% out of the money, 18 days, definitely opening volume. Let's just take a peek in here. I don't know why I always do that page and then I remove it anyways. Not thinking, just have it. So IV spikes when these come in. Spot is filling at the ask. Let's just follow these up. 90.43. So you see how this IV drops here at the end. It's a little bigger size and it's 10K premium. This trade was 200,000 of that premium. So I mean, it's that 10,000. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's about 5% of that total trade, and it's just something that catches my eye and could possibly raise a flag. Again, just because that IV drops a little bit here doesn't always necessarily mean that it's not going to work out. But the thing I don't like about that IV drop is that IV drop comes in when that price of that stock's going up. Typically, you don't want to see that IV dropping when the price is going up. So that's just kind of something that catches my eye. Now, again, for the most part, this flow looks pretty good here, but this is something, again, that would go into that risky flow. Like, you just see that one little piece of internal flow or piece of that flow that doesn't fully make it textbook. Again, it's filling at the ask, though. I mean, if you gotta sit and kind of think about it, again, I just always pass it. I mean, I would probably lean they're buying to open those, just combined with all the other flow as well on the day there. And let's look at those 65 calls too. So yeah, it looks like most of that's still into 34%. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of far out of the money calls coming in, so that is a little interesting. All right, let's go find that here. Oh, is it? Great. Great, great, great. Well, good thing we only got like 10 minutes left. I might have to restart my internet again. My internet has been goofy since that last stream on Thursday there. Oh, okay, we're getting close to the end anyways there. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's just you guys being in Pips. You guys got to get your mics figured out. You got. I blame you guys. That's what I'll do. Brad's got the good setup, I see. Um, so again, yeah, these look good too. I mean, your IV spikes when they come in, spots filling at the ask, looks good that entire way up there. And now, again, this is if you see other flow too, like you can at least kind of, yeah, no, I'll say it's Discord's fault. It probably is. But yeah, this one looks good too there. So kind of combining that with that 5-1, and you just have that small little drop there. I I probably would assume these are buy to open. I am gonna throw this in that risky flow channel though, just because. And these don't overlap earnings either, so that is very interesting to me. Yeah, no, it's I always have that issue with Discord too. Like I'll schedule that event and I just stop starting the event, like because every time I'd start the event, it would never the sound would never work, and I'm just like, why? Yeah, I don't understand how Discord's crappy mic stuff works sometimes. Yeah, it's very frustrating. All right, let's see what we got. We got coming into the last 10 minutes or so here. And not seeing much in there. Close those. Oh, close bid side. Just not a lot. About these 25 days. 6%, But I'm looking for those premium subs. I am looking for a lot further out of the money, like that 20-30%. Yeah, those spy puts kind of came in. Just a little too much volume on this right now. And I would not want to swing short dated spy puts either right now. Alright, what else do we got coming in? If anybody else has any other flow they want me to kind of take a peek at, feel free to drop it here quick. It looks like we're kind of dropping a little bit into close there. So that comes off our bullish market tide read. Yeah, we're just, and that positive gamma kind of disappeared there. So we're just kind of in no man's land right now. I mean, they hit the spread and just no gamma above, no gamma below, and tomorrow's expiration, I mean, they were positioned up a little bit there, but just not a lot. And you got that little position down there too. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird week. I don't think we're gonna have a ton of actual trackable flow alerts this week. Just with with the Iran deadline stuff tomorrow, and then you have PCE, GDP, CPI. I mean, there's just a lot going on this week where I don't think there's going to be a lot of people putting on a lot of flow. Just especially as we get closer to CPI and PCE. I mean, that's what I feel like everybody's going to have eyes on there with the energy spike just the last month. I mean, we will have last month's data, so it's going to be a very interesting report there to kind of see how big of an uptake. I wonder. I don't know if they have the consensus on these yet. Yeah, inflation. Let's just see. No, so oof. Yeah, they have a big spike there in that inflation rate there for that year over year for the top line there. So core will exclude food and energy, so you shouldn't see a big pop there. But these, yeah, oof, that is expecting a big pop there. PCE, how's that? PCE, oh, they're expecting that to stay kind of flat. That's interesting. Monthly, it just tick up a little bit. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting report. Yeah, they're expecting a hot print there on CPI. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Friday will be a fun one. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of chop here now. It looks like. Yeah, just kind of a choppy close. It looks like. All right, well, I don't see anything else interesting really coming in here, and if nobody has anything else they want me to take a peek at, I might hop off here a little early. The dog seems to want to go outside. He's down here staring at me creepily, so I might hop off here a little early, and then we should have another one of these tomorrow. It might be another slow day, but we will be back at it tomorrow. So thank you guys for hanging out, and have a great evening, and I will catch you all tomorrow.